Hey, what's going on, bait chuckers? As you can see, we're doing things a little bit out of the ordinary tonight. The door's up. It is late. I mean, it is, I don't know, 10:45, 11 o'clock at night, something like that. But we need to pour some jig heads because tomorrow morning we are getting tactical. That's right. I got the mini boat charging up. We got a brand new mold that's actually been hiding out, like in plain sight for the last 2 videos. You haven't even seen it yet. It's the hover jig mold. So we got to get our lead pot warmed up and hot. I'm going to get the fan going, and I'll take you on over here and we'll get the molds all set up. So it's been hiding in plain sight here for the last couple of videos, like I said, but here it is, the Epic Bait Molds Hover Jig Mold. Pretty sweet. We can finally make ourselves some hover jigs here at home. So you guessed it, we are going to be fishing the tactical shad tomorrow morning. Now the baits are already made over there. So we already got baits made, but don't worry, we'll have bait making a little further in the video. I do want to make some General's orange. It's Yamamoto color. So we'll get that later in the video. But right now, we have a brand new mold. Haven't shot this yet. You can see the wood is bare, so we got to oil these up, and we have to spray our dropout. So I got everything prepped back here. Come on, let's get on the workbench. So here it is, the hover jig, nice and close up. You see we got our recommended hook sizes there on the front. We can do sizes from 16th, 32nd, 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4 ounce. Pretty awesome. And you can see that the hooks just fit right inside there. Pretty straightforward. Nothing really special to do or add. Just line up your individual hooks and pour yourself some hover rig molds. Pretty awesome. But like I said, this wood is bare. This is cherry wood, so we want to make sure that we protect it the same way we do all of our stir sticks. So to get things started, we're going to take a little bit of our Dead On Plastics worm oil. You can use any worm oil. This just happens to be the only non-scented worm oil that I have right now. And we're just going to go ahead and get some on there. And don't be afraid. All right, you can get your hands wet. It's all good. So we'll put that there, and we'll just take our finger, we're going to rub that in, and we're going to do this for the wood on all sides. We're going to do it for the other piece as well, and we're going to get this nice and saturated with our worm oil so that wood stays nice and oiled up. And look at that. Can you see that the difference in color already between the oiled wood and the light wood? See how that's lighter? See the difference? So you're going to get not only a better, tone of the wood, but also it's going to stay nice and sealed. That wood's not going to rot on you. So we'll go ahead and get that open. We'll finish this up here, and then we'll meet you back. Okay, so now that that's been sitting there and soaking for a little while, you're going to have a little bit of extra oil you can see in the reflection there. So we're just going to go ahead and take our rag, and we can just go ahead and wipe all of that extra oil off now. I usually like to let it sit for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes or so, something like that. Let it really soak in. It is hardwood, so it's only going to soak in so much, but you do want to make sure you get all that extra oil off so it's not slippery, when you're handling the mold. And I definitely recommend getting this done first before you spray in your dropout, if that's something that you are going to do, because if you spray the dropout beforehand, you have a good chance of getting it all up on the wood right here, on the insides. And if you get it on the wood, you're never going to get it off. It's just going to be stained black the whole time. So at least getting the oil down first, you get that protective layer of oil in the wood and get it set up for nice use in the future. All right, so next up, time to spray it with our Franklin Arsenal dropout. Now, if you can hear, it does have a rattle ball in there. So if you shake it at first and you don't hear the rattle ball, keep shaking until you hear that rattle ball in there. Okay, very, very important to make sure this stuff is mixed up nice and good. All right, because we're going to do a nice light layer here on the mold. And so we'll just start our passes from one side and we'll go back and forth. Just like that. And that's it. just like that, just a few passes. You can see we got the dropout all set up, a nice even coat all the way across. And you see what I mentioned right there? See how you're gonna get a little bit of it there on the wood? I don't think there's much you can do. I don't think you really wanna tape off your mold in order to avoid that. It just kinda comes with the territory if you're using dropout. It's not a necessity to have this, but it you know, certainly does help for some good, clean casting, I'll tell you that. So, all right, we'll stick this on top of the mold, get it warmed up, and I'll show you the baits that we're gonna be fishing with. Epic bait molds, always coming through with the sick, sick ass molds. So before I set this on top of the lead pot to get warmed up, I do want to cover some of the recommended hooks. Now, this will work with a size 1/0 to 4/0 standard jig hook. Here are the numbers for the Mustad and the Victory hooks, but I happen to have some Gamakatsu hooks lying around here. These ones here, the 4/0 is the 90 RBHW, and I have the 3/0 90 RBHW. These are the Nano Alpha coated hooks here. Brand new, awesome stuff. These fit as well. So if I open these up here, we'll drop a 3/0 in there, we'll drop a 4/0 in there, and you can see that the Gamakatsu hooks fit perfectly fine as well. So we'll be making our jigs today using Gamakatsu hooks, just because I'm a fanboy and I really like them. I've had really great luck with these on the water with Gamakatsus, and I don't think that owner makes some jig hooks, but Gamakatsu, awesome stuff. All right, now that we got the mold out of the way, we can share with you the 4.2-inch tactical shad as well as the 3.2-inch tactical shad. Now, this is a bait that I have been using for the better part of 2 weeks now. Awesome stuff. I fished a derby with it last week, and I got 4th place, I think, 3rd or 4th place. But a couple 18-inchers and almost a 19 squeaked in there. And then I had some really good luck catching fish over at one of the other ponds as well. So I can't wait to demold these and share this with you. I have in here kind of a take on a gizzard shad. It's kind of some leftovers that I had made from another batch earlier. We can take a look at the tray. And I threw a little bit of gold sparkle flake in the top. And look at that. These molds laminate like a dream. Awesome. And this is not just your standard forward-facing sonar bait either, by the way. Oh, would you look at that? I love me a good demold. Beautiful silver pearl belly with that holographic. You know I'm a sucker for it. And then that top, kind of an electric shad top, but a little bit of gold sparkle in there. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Now, as we put this on the hover rig, and this thing is flipping back and forth, this is what we want. We want that high contrast. If you're going to be using this as a hover or strolling jig type of a trailer, you want to make sure you have a high contrast between your top and bottom, so that way when it's rolling like that in the water, you get a real good contrast between the two colors. But as Jason mentioned in his video, this is much more than just a forward-facing sonar bait. I mean, that is the intention of it, and it's an awesome forward-facing sonar bait. I'm glad that Jason, finally came out with this mold. I feel like I had a lot of influence on this because I bombarded him for the last 2 years telling him we need this type of mold, and I tell you what, the wait was worth it. I mean, just look at that profile. Absolutely beautiful. I love the way that tail just vibrates with very, very little movement. There's so many uses. We have it rigged up 5 different ways on 5 different poles in the mini boat right now. Let's take a look. It comes in a 3.2 tactical size as well. Look at that, looking stellar inside the mold. Let's get that peel back going. Oh yeah, ruined by the dogs barking, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going with it. Awesome, awesome stuff. So there we go. We got baits already made. We'll go ahead and we'll get those added to the tray here so they can kind of cure overnight. So, I mean, now to be fair, 100% honest, I have a whole bag of these things already in the boat, but I needed kind of like an electric shad, gizzard shad style color. So that's what I went ahead and made before the video here, because we are short on time. But I really want to show all of you the different ways you can rig it, get some action footage. So really the focus is on the bait itself this video and not necessarily the bait making. But like I said, fear not, we'll be making some General's Orange towards the end of the video, because I definitely want to stock up. We got lots of bluegills here, and it's a great color. So with the magic of editing, I will see you in the morning out on the water. All right, we did make it out on the water. It's actually a few days later. Unfortunately, the GoPro decided to overheat constantly and not cooperate. So I don't have a ton of on the water footage. I did manage to get a couple catches. I believe we had some of those using the ring roller out there mid-strolling in the open. No scoping, as I like to call it, with no electronics on the boat. But I definitely wanted to run through all the different ways I have it rigged up. What I said was true. I actually have 4 rods because I did switch one of them out, but I had 5 rods with 5 different setups, and there's a bunch of different ways to rig this bait. So before we get into making the General's Melon color, I wanted to bring you guys in real close just to show you a couple different ways that I have it rigged up here on the various setups, so you get an idea of how you can rig this up in your bait shop. So come on in close here. Let me show you what we got going here with these rods. All right, so I guess we'll start first with the spinning rod setup, because that is the primary use case for the bait. And you can see here, I have it set up on the ring roller. That's the 4.2 inch tactical shad set up on a 1/4 ounce ring roller head. That is a 4/0 hook on there. Awesome pairing, great strolling action on the spinning rod. And of course, now I have our kit of hover rigs that I made here. So you can take a look inside here. I have all of the various hooks and weights ready to go. So I got my own little kit to keep here on the mini boat when I am strolling. And taking a look here, this is the 1/4 ounce on a 4/0 hook. So 1/4 ounce weight, 4/0 hook inside of a 4.2 inch tactical shad. Awesome hover rig setup right there. And then of course the 3.2 looks awesome with a 3/0 hook, and that is the 1/8 ounce weighted hover jig and a 3/0 hook inside of the 3.2 inch tactical shad. And these are going to be deadly on mid-strolling setups, forward-facing sonar, even if you're no scoping. Awesome setups. Really cool to have this new combination for the forward-facing sonar baits by Epic Bait Molds. Thank you so much, Jason. It's about time that we got this addition to the family. But you can use it in so many other different ways. You know, I think a lot of people will tend to go right towards a jackhammer. In fact, I have a chatterbait on another rod right here. So I have a micro chatterbait. This is the 3.2 inch here, used as a micro chatterbait trailer. This chatterbait is made by Jacob over at Into the Woods Custom Lure Works. Make sure to go check out his YouTube channel. And then here's the 4.2 black and blue version, and this is on the back of a brigade blade. This is by Battle Baits. It's a take on the grass piece, grass puzzle. Has that blade that vibrates in the front, but again, that back and forth action, and that tail just, you know, wobbles back and forth. You can see just by me shaking my thumb, you get incredible action on that tail. So another great way to use it as a trailer there. Another great setup is on the back of a spinnerbait as a spinnerbait trailer. This is a 1/4 ounce minigun, also by Battle Baits. And what I noticed was interesting on the the spinnerbait, I don't know if it's from the vibration of the blade or maybe just from pulling it straight through the water, but the tail had a little bit of a vibration to it coming through the water. Those two little tentacles were kind of pulsating left and right, back and forth. So I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe that's just a side effect from the blade pulsating up top. Either way, on the back of a spinnerbait is a great use of the tactical shad mold as well. On one of my BFS setups, you can see here, I have it set up on a drop shot. So this is just a 1/4 ounce drop shot weight. And then we have it set up on a 2/0 mosquito hook here. This is the 4.2 inch, and you can kind of see I threaded it through. The nice thing about the drop shot too is when you bounce it up and down, just shake your rod, you do get some of that back and forth rolling action, because that's naturally what this bait wants to do. That's what it was designed for, that intense rolling action. So works amazing on a drop shot as well. And last, but certainly not by least by any means at all, we have it set up in a Ned rig style, but not just any old Ned rig. We are using the jaw dropper from First Gen Fishing. You can see the jaw dropper has that unique lip on the front of it there, so it acts like a Ned bait, so it'll sit on the ground, you know, flat like that. But also when you jerk it through the water, when you attach a fluke or a minnow style bait to it, you get that awesome side to side, you know, darting action coming through the water. So awesome. I highly recommend the jaw dropper head by First Gen Fishing. So extremely versatile and extremely, well, tactical, as the name implies. This is a pretty sweet bait. I'm super excited for it. So many uses. I've been pouring a ton of it. I love the way it shows off colors, especially the hollow shifts and the color shift with the rolling. I mean, you know, it lends itself to the color shift powders and hollow shifts. So pretty awesome stuff. So speaking of colors, I do want to show you this awesome color, General's Melon. It's a Yamamoto color. Let's head on over to the workbench and let's close out this video with a quick little color recipe, huh? Come on, let's go. All right, we got 2 cups of plastisol hot, ready to go. We're going to be busting out a color today called General's Melon. It is a Yamamoto color. You can see it is mostly just a chartreuse on the bottom with some small 0.015 orange flake and some small black flake in there. So we'll do some watermelon, maybe a drop or two of black on the top. For the chartreuse, I have picked out the MF green chartreuse. We're going to go with this. I know it's a little bit yellow, but when you add a darker color, it tends to make it more green. So we're going to go with that. And then we will be going with Lureworks Watermelon 101 and some black. And then, of course, we have our small black square flake. And I don't have any 0.015 orange glitter, but I do have some small square glitter. So this is what we'll be rocking with there. All right, no real measurements here. We're just going to give a couple squirts of the chartreuse in there. And then we will give it a good stir. We want a pretty opaque chartreuse. We don't want something that's going to be, you know, very see-through. We want it a little bit translucent, maybe a little bit more. We don't want it, you know, 100% opaque, but we definitely want a solid chartreuse. And I'm really liking the way that's looking right there. The way the knife disappears into the cup. And I think that's going to give off some awesome green vibes once the darker watermelon is added to it. We'll set that color aside and we can focus now on our watermelon. Again, we're not doing an exact color match. We're just kind of, you know, using it as an example of a color we want to try and match. We do need a relatively thick watermelon though, because I will tell you the laminates on the backs of the tactical shad are definitely thin, so we definitely are going to want some more. All right, another few squirts there, and that should give us a nice dark watermelon. Yeah, still somewhat translucent. You can still see on the knife there when it gets thin, it's still pretty translucent. So yeah, I like the way that's looking. I apologize if that's focusing on my hand the entire time. I'm trying to work on these camera angles here for you. I do also want to come in and add 2 drops of black. Okay, this is going to darken it up just a tad. Okay, again, I'm sorry. We'll try and get my hand out of the way for you. So this is going to darken it up a tad. All right, perfect. I think that's looking good. So for the square flake, you know, the black square flake, we're just going to need a dash, not a whole lot. So we're just going to go kind of like a 1/2 of a 16th. It was really scattered through there, I think mostly for texture. However, the orange glitter was pretty heavy, so I think we're going to go in. There's a 16th. Let's try 1/8, which is 2 full scoops. Let's see where this takes us. Okay. Oh, I'm liking that. And you know, because those are larger chunks of glitter, it's square instead of the 0.015. I think we're going to leave it just like that. Okay, and there you have it. General's Melon right there. I think that's going to make for a nice high contrast, high vis laminate. Let's get these in the vacuum chamber, and then we'll meet you back here when we're ready to inject. All right, here we are, gloved up, ready to rock and roll. General's Melon. I think this is going to look really good inside the Tactical Shad. All right, nice solid push. We're going to hold for just a second just to make sure everything gets filled in. Nice medium pace. Awesome. Definitely going to hold on the big one too. Going to keep an eye on that back sprue back there as it draws down. All right, we're going to want to... Ooh, you saw that, how cold that was. All right, good thing we were holding pressure. Now these molds, they do drink, so you got to make sure to stay on top of them. They are thick bodies, especially that 4-inch, so we want to make sure that we get those covered. Awesome. I think that looks good. This looks really good on the sprue, or on the injectors rather. Yeah, I think those are going to turn out awesome. General's Melon. All right, which one do we want to demold first, huh? Let's start with the 4.2-inch Tactical Shad. That's what the sprue looks like. You can see that yellow already turned green when paired up with that watermelon, just like we thought it would. So which side's going to come off? The belly side. There you go. See that? Just like we thought, that turns very green by adding that black and that watermelon, that dark color, to the light yellow. Let's get the peel back here. Oh yeah. Looking fantastic, huh? Beautiful colorway. I mean, we could probably add a little bit more black. Maybe it's a tad bit on the green side, but I'll tell you what, whew, I love it. That looks pretty sweet to me. I mean, here's the Yamamoto. We'll throw that right in there. I mean, there's the Yamamoto. Looks pretty close. If I flip over the back side again, I mean, come on. That's what I'm talking about right there. Looking absolutely fantastic. And in the water, just like I thought, that is going to give an awesome bluegill profile in the in kind of a strolling bait. I mean, look at that. If you got this thing going crazy like that, oh yeah, that's awesome. Beautiful. And that tail back there, by the way, I mean, just from like, well, I'm not trying to flick it all over the place, but that tail, it's wiggly. You can see how wiggly it is. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, let's take a look at the 3.2-inch Tactical Shad. Those also want to come out on the belly side. Looking good there as well. Let's get that peel back. Oh yeah, look at that orange in there. Beautiful. Super, super cool. Really awesome. And look at just the way it overlaps a little bit. It just has such a natural look to it. And then it comes back and it just blends into that tail back there. Very natural look indeed. I'm telling you, this bait laminates. One thing to note about the bait though, like I mentioned, when you do the laminate, you can see the belly takes over a large portion. It's almost like a 3/4 to 1. That top color is very, very thin. So when you are making your colors, make sure to keep that top color just a tad darker, because that belly is going to be so prominent. I'm almost curious to know what this bait would look like shot with that 3-to-1 injector. So Adam, if you're watching this, maybe you can experiment and let us know. Maybe we can pull that back color down more and just get a little something there in the belly. But the same kind of carries through over onto the smaller version as well. You can see that back color is very thin back there, but just absolutely beautiful. Look at that profile. Such an awesome profile. And if you look at it straight on, you can see it's flatter on the top, and then it comes down to a point at the belly. That's to help with that rolling action there. Awesome stuff. Even on a drop shot, you just jiggle it and this thing wants to naturally roll. It's so cool. Awesome. The Tactical Shad. And there you go, the Tactical Shad color match to the Yamamoto General's Melon. Looking quite awesome. Let's get some close-ups of these, and then we'll meet you all back at the workbench. And there you go, we got our General's Melon all set up. We will let these cure for a day or two, and then we'll wrap them up in some garlic scented worm oil, stick them in some bags, and these are going straight into the boat because I cannot wait to throw these here on the ponds. General's Melon is an awesome bluegill color. If you sense a theme in the last few videos, well, that's because we got a ton of bluegill here, so I'm trying to switch up my color strategy for my local ponds versus fishing out at the Delta, which is more of a shad and crawdad fishery. So again, you got to match the hatch, right? You gotta feed the bass what they want to eat. So there you go, Tactical Shad, hover rig, General's Melon. I mean, we covered a lot in this video. If you're liking these types of videos, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I think we're gonna wrap and cap this video right here. So until next time, everybody, y'all know who it is. Your friend on this end, Michael, out here around these Delta sloughs, reminding you to keep on chucking. I'll get back with you.